Naomi told the elders that if only she will say anything, my mother will be present for me to be well. We should hold my mother accountable and not her. Everybody present was shocked and was surprised to hear Naomi say that about my mother. Hello brothers and sisters, welcome back to another episode on Cake Spencer TV. This is the part 2 of My Mother, My Enemy, and here we go. So the elders sent a messenger to Naomi to pass a message to her that if she refuses to come before them, they threatened to take the matter to the chief palace. Naomi came before the elders. They called for all of us, but my mother was absent since she has traveled. In all of this, it was Betty, my ex, together with my sisters, who were going up and down, trying to by any means to make sure I will be fine. When we were at the meeting with the elders, I was asked to tell everybody exactly what I told the elders before they summoned Naomi. I did just that and even asked her that she should forgive me for any wrong thing I've done to her. The elders, after hearing my plea, asked her if she knows anything about what I'm saying, of which she said no. She does not know anything about my sickness. She was asked for 3 good times, but Naomi insisted she knows nothing about what I'm saying, nor my sickness. She does not hold anything against me. After she had finished saying all that, my sister nearly broke into a fight with her. The people around stopped them from fighting her. One of the elders went into the room and brought out a bottle of schnapps together with eggs. He asked her for the last time if she knows nothing about what I'm going through before he pours libation to the gods to deal with anyone who knows something about my sickness. At this point, sensing danger, Naomi told the elders that if only she will say anything, my mother will be present for me to be well. We should hold my mother accountable and not her. Everybody present was shocked and was surprised to hear Naomi say that about my mother. So the elders asked when my mother will be available. My elder sister called my mother and told her what is happening. She responded by saying she can't be available and won't be part of such meeting. She said that she does not want to see Naomi with even her naked eyes or even for life. The elders, after a few days, realizing that my mother truly does not want to honor their invitation, asked for her number and called her. They told her that if she refuses to come to them to settle this matter, they will call the chief into the matter. And one thing is that when there is an issue in our town and they involve the chief, then the chief priest will also be there and incantations will be done. And when that incantations are done, if you're found guilty of any case leveled against you, it wouldn't last up to 3 months. You will surely die. This brought fear into my mother, so she gave them a date that she will be available. After this, I went back to the pastor with Betty. The pastor told me that before the set day for the meeting will come, someone will bring me jollof rice with some drinks. He warned me never to take that food nor drinks, for if I eat or even collect the food from the person, she will be exchanging my soul with the food and I won't live to see the said day that the elders have set. In fact, all these things Naomi was saying about my mother was confusing. I know my mother sometimes can be really stubborn, but to say she has something to do with my sickness was something difficult to grasp. The more reason I was confused is that the pastor, when we visited him the first time, said Naomi will tell me a lot of things hidden in secret if we sit down and apologize to her. Could this be what the pastor was trying to communicate to me? I was there one evening when Betty came to me saying my mother had returned from where she had gone. She asked Betty to leave us all alone because she wants to have a mother and son talk with me. After Betty had gone, my mother pleaded with me to forgive her for abandoning me all these trying times. I was so hurt and sad. She hugged me and said that from this day she will be here day and night to help me fight through this difficult time. After saying all this, she asked that she wants to be in her room to take her bath, so she went out of my room. Betty came in to find out what she had told me. After telling her what my mother had said to me, Betty told me that she had realized her mistake and wants to be the mother figure I need in my trying time. I should allow her do what is expected of her as a mother. Betty now added that now my mother is in and wants to assume her role. She will be leaving the next day, but promised to visit me every weekend. At this point, I realized the mistake I had made in breaking up with such a lady. Even though I have been with Betty and I know she can be a good person, but she sacrificing her work time and resources for someone who has broken up with her in a manner that wasn't right made me realize how stupid I have been. I wanted to beg Betty for forgiveness before she can go, but shame couldn't let me do it. My mother, when I was with Betty, never liked her. If you ask me why, I can't even tell you exactly what the problem is. The one thing I can say is that there is a vast contrast between Betty and Naomi towards my mother. From the first time my mother saw Betty, she never liked her. Even when Betty knew about my mother's dislike towards her, she never uttered a word back to her. But Naomi, on the other hand, will not let my mother go without telling my mother a piece of my mind when she feels my mother has done something wrong to her. Please kindly subscribe, share and like our videos. Kindly hit the notification bell so you will be first to get notified to our videos when we upload. Thank you. Let's get back to the story. When I introduced Naomi to my mother, she accepted Naomi like her own daughter. That is why Naomi's behavior towards my mother came as a shock. When my sisters wanted me to break up with Naomi, my mother fought with my sister. 2 days after Betty had gone, she called one evening and asked me if I have received food or drinks from anyone, just like the pastor has said. I said no. She then asked me if my mother has given me anything after she returned from her journey. I told her yes, it was a drink. She also told me she was going to buy food for me very soon. Betty then asked me if I have eaten the food or the drinks. She sounded so worried, so I asked her why she was asking those questions. Betty told me that she was in a dream, and in that dream I was dead in a few minutes. After my death in the dream, the pastor had come to the house and told her I didn't listen to his advice, because in the dream I had eaten the food he, the pastor, had told me not to eat. As soon as she told me about this dream, I started crying because I already drank one of the 3 drinks my mother brought for me. Betty, without saying anything again, ended the call. Few minutes after the call ended, I had my sister and my mother fighting and insulting each other on top of their voice. When my sister came to my room, I asked her why she was fighting our mother. She told me that Betty had called her to tell her of what had happened, and that got her angry. She went to ask my mother why she brought the food and the drinks for me. The next day in the evening, we all gathered in the elder's house to find out the truth of the matter in order for me to be well. I was asked to tell my story again, which I did just that. The elders asked Betty to call the pastor to be present in the meeting. She called him and he said he will be there in an hour's time. They asked Naomi if she had anything to say about my statement against her, because to me she was responsible for my predicament. Naomi also narrated her own story. She started from the beginning of our relationship to where I put the mixture in her soup. The elders wanted me to confirm or deny what Naomi is accusing me of. I told her indeed I did that, but explained reasons why it happened. So I told them it was for me to be able to collect my money from her and not to poison or kill her. After saying that, I begged Naomi for forgiveness. I told her if she knows anything about my sickness, she should reverse it, because I am gradually dying. One of the elders, after my speech, brought the attention of the statement Naomi made about my mother, to which she was invited. They asked Naomi why she said that if I wanted to be well, I should ask my mother and not her. Just as Naomi wanted to start saying something, I felt some hot heat from my head to my feet. Few seconds after that, I did not hear anything again. It was later I came back to my consciousness and I realized that I was indeed unconscious. When I came back to my consciousness, I was told everything that happened after my unconsciousness. They said the elders wanted to take me to the hospital, but soon after they had gone for a taxi, the pastor arrived and said that if they take me to the hospital, I would die. He also said that whoever is responsible for my problem was here and among us. I was told he prayed for me and took out an anointing oil from his bag and anointed me, which after he told the elders to continue with the case and told them that before they will come to the conclusion of the matter, I will come back to consciousness. I was told that Naomi and my mother were beating about the bush, not saying anything relevant to the subject matter. So the pastor brought out something in his bag and begged the elders to allow him to use it, for that will help bring finality to the case. When he was granted that, he said that he didn't want to disgrace anybody. That's why he asked us to talk about this issue in the house, so that when When Naomi has forgiven me, he will know how to do some prayers and directions for me to be healed. He asked someone to step in for me, which I was told Betty volunteered to do so. Naomi and my mother were each given some oil in their palm to smear in their faces. After they had done that, the pastor then sought permission for the elders to allow them hold the staff he came with. At this point, Naomi said no, she wouldn't hold the staff. My mother also said no, she wouldn't hold the staff. The pastor said that whoever refused to hold the staff knows something about my sickness. Betty was asked if she loves me, and she said no because she was in a relationship, but since I'm the father of her child, she will do anything to save me. The afternoon, the pastor then asked her to hold the staff and command that whoever knows anything about what her child's father is going through, may the Lord through the staff strike and reveal every hidden secret. They said right after Betty had done what the pastor commanded her to do, my mother started shouting, I will say, I will confess. Please leave me alone. I will confess. My mother said that she was a witch, and the reason why she hated Betty so much is that she realized that Betty will be a cause of hindrance in what she wants to do in my life. So she created that fight between me and Betty, which led to our separation. After which she contracted Naomi, who was also in their camp, to come into my life and finish the job that she, my mother, has started. So me meeting Naomi and she going naked in the room the first day, which resulted in us having sex, was all part of a spiritual arrangement to take my soul. But she and Naomi became enemies because Naomi was in love with me and was not doing the assignment which was given to her. So the day I went to her house to see another man in her room, she was to come and sleep with me, after which the final contract will be sealed. But obviously, because Naomi has fallen so much in love with me, decided not to do that to me. So she pretended as though she was having sex with the other guy, knowing very well that I will come to her place to see that. Naomi says she saw that I have put something in her soup because she was a witch, but wanted to expose my mother the day that she came to her house to fight my mother. She wanted me to tell her the truth that very day in front of my mother, so she will use that opportunity to expose what is hidden between her and my mother. So when she asked what I put into her soup and I said I had done nothing, she was disappointed and told herself that she will never fight for me again. So she decided to leave my life so that my mother can have the chance to do what she wants to do with me. So my mother can have the chance to do whatever she wants to do with me. She said that she had nothing against me. She was not responsible for my sickness. She was just protecting me from my mother. She asked permission from the elders to leave the meeting if there was no more question for her to answer. They said that before she left, the pastor went on his knees to beg her to forgive me if there was anything wrong I have done to her. They said she was hurt because she risks everything she holds in the realm of the witch camp to love and protect me, but I didn't value that. But she has forgiven me. She left after saying that. So the pastor told the elders that the rest is with him. So they took me into a taxi and went to the prayers camp. As soon as we entered the prayers ground, I came back to life. I was told everything that happened. The pastor prepared some mixture for me and told me I will be staying in his prayer camp for 3 months. After that 3 months, whatever that was done to me, it will go back to the sender. So my brother, I'm still here. I've spent 1 month and some days here praying and hoping everything will work so I can regain my full self. So this is my story. I hope everyone listening will be careful of people, even those that claim they love you. Thank you for being part of this growing family. Kindly share your thoughts with us in the comment section below. If you are new here, please subscribe, like and share.